The year is 2029, where humanity fights desperately against Skynet's endless armies of machines. Cities lie in ruins, and the Resistance, led by John Connor, is humanity's last hope. The machines, realizing John is the key to their defeat, devise a plan to eliminate him in the past. Skynet sends a new, advanced Terminator back through time. But John's forces capture the same time displacement device and reprogram an older model to protect his younger self. The stage is set for a battle across time, where the future depends on the survival of the past. The advanced T-1000 arrives in 1995 Los Angeles, disguised in a shimmering liquid metal form. It can shapeshift into anyone it touches, making it nearly impossible to detect. It quickly takes the identity of a police officer, blending into society with frightening ease. Its mission is clear: find and kill the young John Connor. Meanwhile, chaos ripples through the city as the T-1000 begins its cold, calculated search. Moments later, another flash of light reveals the T-800 reprogrammed by the Resistance. This familiar machine emerges in a new world, naked and relentless in its mission to protect John. Unlike the T-1000, the T-800's approach is brutal and direct, taking clothes, weapons, and transportation minutes. The two Terminators are now set on a collision course, both heading toward the unsuspecting boy who will decide humanity's fate. John Connor, now a rebellious teenager, lives with foster parents after Sarah was institutionalized for her warnings about Judgment Day. He spends his time hacking ATMs, riding motorcycles, and avoiding responsibility. Despite his troubled behavior, hints of leadership and intelligence are already visible. John is unaware that his destiny is about to crash violently into his world. At a local mall, both Terminators converge on John at the same time. The T-1000, disguised as a cop, almost corners John when the T-800 bursts in. What looks like an assassination attempt quickly turns into a rescue. The mall explodes into chaos as the T-1000 and T-800 engage in a brutal showdown, with John barely escaping alive. After the battle, the T-800 explains its mission to John: protect him at all costs. John struggles to believe a killing machine is now his guardian. The T-800 reveals that Sarah was right all along. Judgment Day is real, and it's coming. John realizes the future he thought was a paranoid delusion is terrifyingly true. John insists they must rescue Sarah Connor from the psychiatric hospital, where she's being held for her warnings of the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Sarah plots her own escape, showing her resilience and combat skill. But when the T-1000 infiltrates the hospital in disguise, her chances of survival vanish. In a high-tension escape, Sarah is shocked to see the T-800 return, not as her enemy, but as John's protector. Sarah is torn between hatred and relief at the T-800's presence. She recalls the nightmare of facing one before, but John pleads with her to trust this machine. The T-800 demonstrates absolute loyalty to John, obeying his every command. Slowly, Sarah begins to see the possibility of using the machine to change the future. The trio goes on a run, hiding from the T-1000's relentless pursuit. Sarah drills John in survival skills, sharpening his instincts for leadership. John, in turn, teaches the T-800 about humanity, morality, and why life matters. An unlikely bond forms, creating the strange image of a boy, his mother, and their mechanical protector. Sarah and the T-800 reveal to John that Skynet originated from Cyberdyne Systems. The company is secretly developing revolutionary AI and military networks, unknowingly laying the foundation for Judgment Day. John realizes that destroying Cyberdyne may prevent the war entirely. Sarah's resolve hardens. She won't just fight for survival, she'll fight to erase the future. The group targets Miles Dyson, the Cyberdyne scientist unknowingly creating Skynet. When Sarah attempts to assassinate him, John intervenes, showing his compassion and leadership. The T-800 explains the full consequences of Dyson's work, leaving the scientist horrified. Instead of killing him, They convince Dyson to help dismantle the technology. Dyson, John, Sarah, and the T-800 storm Cyberdyne's headquarters. They load explosives and prepare to destroy every trace of Skynet's beginnings. But the T-1000 arrives, triggering alarms and a massive police response. The building becomes a war zone, with humans and machines battling under flashing sirens and gunfire. In a desperate stand, Dyson holds off the authorities while the others escape with critical equipment. He sacrifices himself, detonating explosives that destroy Cyberdyne's core lab. His death ensures that Skynet's birth is crippled, but not completely erased. John realizes that sacrifice and leadership are the price of changing destiny. The T-1000 pursues John, Sarah, and the T-800 in a relentless highway chase. Helicopters crash, trucks explode, and the T-1000 shrugs off every attack. The chase ends in a fiery steel mill, where molten metal and machines provide the final battleground. The heat and chaos set the stage for their last confrontation. Inside the steel mill, the T-800 T-1000 clash with brutal ferocity. The liquid metal assassin shifts, forms rapidly, becoming an unstoppable blur of weapons. Sarah fights alongside the T-800, showing her transformation into a hardened warrior. John scrambles for survival, caught in the crossfire of Titans. The T-800 is torn apart piece by piece, but refuses to stop. John begs his protector to survive, showing his growing attachment. The T-1000 nearly kills Sarah, but her fierce will keeps her fighting. Every strike of metal against metal echoes the fate of humanity itself. Using clever tactics and sheer resilience, the T-800 drives the T-1000 into molten steel. Its liquid body thrashes violently, shifting through countless phases before dissolving. The nightmare ends in a violent eruption of sparks and steam. The trio barely survives, scarred but alive. The T-800 explains that the future is still at risk as long as its technology exists. It insists that it, too, must be destroyed in the molten steel. John resists, unable to accept losing his only father figure. But the machine insists there is no fate but what we make. In a heartbreaking moment, John and Sarah lower the T-800 into the furnace. The machine gives one last, almost human gesture, a thumbs up as it sinks. John weeps, realizing the cost of protecting the future. Sarah, hardened but hopeful, holds her son close as the night grows quiet. With Cyberdyne destroyed and the T-1000 eliminated, the future is uncertain. Sarah narrates that Judgment Day may still come, but now humanity has a chance to fight. John walks beside her, no longer just a boy, but a leader forged in fire. The road ahead is unknown, but one thing is certain. The future is no longer written in stone.